Rogue's been really, really solid so far in the tournament. The team fighting especially has been absolutely stellar, and I just can't wait to get on the Rift.
Rogue's boring. Let's talk about GL, dude. The mad scientist, the AP bots, dude. Like, maybe it doesn't work in best ones, maybe it doesn't best of threes, but I think in best of fives you can pull out so many crazy picks, and we're already getting into draft. I think it's going to be an absolute... I think the draft's going to be crazy from GL. I think they're going to pull out some random stuff. The Vel'Koz was working, the Graves, so hopefully they go with what works for GL.
Are they so unpredictable that they're predictable, though? Because we had a thing about Ox there as well. You know, they go for that mid kind of AD. They look to try and get the mage bot lane. What are you expecting to see here, Cadril, from the, both sides now, as Gamer Legion have opted for the blue? I'm
expecting a Thresh ban, yeah, and a Kali ban from GL. They could throw a target ban as well, and Rogue. I'm looking at something like an Orin, Heimerdinger, Ziggs, these kind of bans which were banned away from LDLC yesterday. There's the Akali, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a Ziggs Orin coming from the side of Aegor Rogue. GL really like the first pick Orin. Hecarim ban. Rabble could be a Hecarim player. I think he's probably played throughout this tournament. It's a really strong champ. But Zanzara, Set, Skarner. These are the two champs that you're looking at for Zanzara. I think they could invest a ban in it. There it is. And then what Mouse did yesterday is they banned the Skarner and then they first picked the Set. I'm not sure if that's something Game Legion want to do. They could have Wisdom on the Set if they do first pick it. But yeah, I think Zanzara will definitely pick it up, but the first pick one.
And there is the Ornn, and this does leave open the Ziggs that we see banned a lot as well against Game Legion that has made it through. And I don't think Rogue plays Ziggs, to be honest. It's kind of just like a Hjarnan thing, you know? So I think that might be something we may be seeing in this second rotation there. And as you say, there is the Set being picked up as well. Maybe a bit of a takeaway too from Rabble. He's going straight into the Kindred. I like that as a response.
I wonder if they'll go for something like the Vel'Koz, because that's what they did yesterday. I really like the Kindred pickup though. It's definitely a really good matchup with the Set. But Zanzara has the Set again. Looks pretty strong.
And I just want to say as well, Kindred for a pick for Rabble. We have seen this guy get 3, 4, 5 levels ahead in the jungle. They prioritize him on these heavy kind of, farming junglers that you can just rocket ahead. They are going to go with the Jhin, though, for the bot side. That's almost certainly going to Hjarnan.
Yeah, but Hjarnan has also played it in the mid lane.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Even when Hjarnan gets to play traditional AD carry, he refuses to play it in the bot lane.
But I think Jhin mid into Orianna Set might be a bit difficult.
Yeah, it might be a tad difficult.
I'm expecting something like a Galio out of Knight. Maybe perhaps a Control Mage would work really well in their comp, but that would be a well-rounded comp. And we haven't seen many well-rounded comps from GL. They like to go for some crazy picks, Rengar, stuff like this. So they have picked up their jungle AD carry on top, so it's just the mid supporter looking after the side of GL. But Rogue opted in for the Ezreal. It's a pretty strong draft by both teams so far, so I'm expecting some mad scientist side from GL a bit.
Little mad scientist coming up from GL, but of course for Go Rogue, we got to look at Checolad. On this Orianna has a lot of playmaking potentials. Do you expect them to kind of, tried and tested setup for what they've always done, Cadril? Really kind of going into really focus on Checolad?
Yeah, Checolad, he's been a really consistent factor. He's been scaling on the picks like the Cassio, like the Orianna. I think these champs are really strong in mid to late game fights. I think that's where Rogue really find their footing. I mean, Zanzara gets them to the mid game, then the team fights are where they pop off. But I really like this ban from GL. I think Trimby's been getting away with murder with this Rakan pick throughout the whole tournament. He's been getting out of lane phase for free, and he's been really carrying the team fights. I think Trimby has been almost like an MVP performer on this champion, so it's a really good ban from the side of them. The Galio is banned out, which is something I expected Knight to play if it wasn't a control mage. So GL, they could throw another support ban here, something like a Leona, could help them a lot, but they're going to go for a Malphite ban, which is what we saw yesterday from them.
Yeah, Malphite was really strong yesterday when Phones was playing him. I like as you mentioned, the Rakan ban. I think Trimby has been pretty much the unsung hero from Rogue. The way he makes plays on that team and sets up the rest of his teammates is really something special. And now with this Rakan taken away, where do you expect Rogue to really kind of like take this support pick now?
I like the fact that they're last picking support. I think last picks, sort of counter pick supports are really valuable. So GL, they have to go for a blind pick support here. I'm expecting some kind of engage from Wisdom.
Ooh, okay.
Is that an AP Kog'Maw mid? I think that's AP Kog'Maw mid.
Almost certainly. Going to be on tonight. First time we've seen it for the tournament.
That's crazy. I mean, I like the Tahm Kench pick. That stops the Set Sion getting on your backline. I want to see more engage from Rogue. I want to see more team fights. I think Pyke could fit in. I think something like the Leona is kind of struggling in lane phase, so I can see why they're looking for something like that, because Tahm Kench normally counted by the range supports. It's a bit difficult to pull off a range support, but Bard is open, so that's a very good support. So, Rogue, good team fights. I think they have really good jungle support synergy going towards mid. And Knight is very immobile, so if he does lose Flash against an Orianna set the Bard, he's really going to struggle, but if he can get to 2 items, he's going to pop off.
Just a little quick stat for you there. Kog'Maw for Knight has only played it once in 2 years, and he did win on it. So it's definitely, again,
100% win rate, baby.
100% win rate, but it is definitely a little bit of that spice that we were looking for from Gamer Legion, Foxy.
Yeah, and I like the, I'm always focused more towards the jungle matchups. I'm a bit biased in that sense, but with the Kindred, I'm looking to see whether Rabble can be the Rabble that he was yesterday. He was really quite dominant in his semi-final matchup, and you know, Kindred into set, you do have that range advantage. But a lot of the jungle plays comes down to your solo laners as well. You know, and we see that AP Kog'Maw mid, we have the Ornn in the top lane too. Are you expecting to see Rabble kind of have his way with Zanzara here, or would it be a bit different?
Yeah, I mean, Zanzara has been showing so much early aggression, level 2, level 3. Rabble needs to kind of control that or match it. The only problem I have with Rabble in general with this pick is Orianna and Ezreal are two really long-range sort of hyper carries. When it gets to 2-3 items, they're basically poking you down in team fights, and if you walk too close to the fight, the shockwave will come out. So Rabble will struggle to get on their carries, but they have lots of front-to-back damage. The Jhin, not a huge tank killer, but the Kog'Maw and the Kindred are going to melt the tanks, and the Ornn ult is useful for shutting out Jekyll in the fights, but Woolite needs to dash around and try and find as much damage as he can.
Talk to me now, Foxy, about these kind of, you know, compositions, looking at Gamers Legion, looking at Rogue. What are they both looking to do? What are they looking to try and set up? And where are we looking at them to kind of really push their advantages?
Well, obviously, it's a Gamer Legion Rogue game, so you're starting right at level 1. Both teams thinking they have the advantage on that one. But obviously, you know, you got Tahm Kench, you got Bard, they're both champions and can do stuff level 1, so not too surprised that they're looking to scout out a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, I'd kind of just echo Caedrel's sentiment there when he was saying about the whole kind of team fighting comp that Rogue have is definitely something that plays into their strengths. We've seen a lot of it so far in EU Masters. And this level 1 is going to be a bit spicy. I think delayed invades have kind of been the story of playoffs so far. If we're looking at how teams have made success. And right here, Gamer Legion are going for their own.
I think the worst part about this invade for the side of Rogue is they didn't have any info on this invade. They are question mark pinging now, Trimby's coming down, so if he spots this out, this is going to be really big. The ward is going to spot it out, so Zanzara has the info now. So now he's not going to walk to his blue buff and see it's gone. He's probably going to look to move into the top side and look for sort of a split map here. I mean, the split map's not really valuable for top side because it's tank versus tank. I don't think there's going to be any early dives there, so...
Ooh, did he see that though? I don't think he
saw
saw it.
He saw Knight level 1. Flash for flash. Good response there from Knight. Gets himself away, but does lose the summoner.
Yeah, that's big on AP Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw has like legit 0 mobility. You lose that flash, you're extremely vulnerable. Zanzara now has a really, really easy time of things as far as what he wants to do this game. It's pretty simple. He's just going to look to punish that Kog'Maw and see if he can get a kill.
Rabble is moving to the top side here. He thinks he can stop Zanzara taking away this blue. I think he's going to be a bit too late to it. He doesn't have mid push, he doesn't have top push, so he's going to get late to this blue, realize it's gone, but he will defend his Gromp. So if he is able to defend his Gromp, then he is going to have a 1-camp lead. Zanzara kind of identifies that it's a bit risky to go for it, so Rabble, he can full clear to bot now. And this game basically gives Rogue's bot lane the go signal. We can push now. Although they don't have the info that Rabble's there, they don't have to be too scared, and the whole idea of the split map in the early prevents the Bard from roaming early. So it was beneficial for the side of GL. They did lose the flash on Knight, so if Rogue do get one wave of bot prior or says again they can move towards mid, Knight might be in trouble if his wave's in a bad spot.
And that's really important if you're able to kind of stop Trimby from roaming around, because he has been a huge catalyst for Rogue in their success. And the way he moves around the map is nothing short of spectacular, really, honestly. This guy has been really, really solid. We saw it in the Sharks interview as well. He was mentioning how Trimby will be a good fit even for LEC teams. And to be honest, I'd have a hard time disagreeing with him with the way that he's played so far in this tourney.
Yeah, definitely agree with Rakan. The Bard champions like this, he's been really popping off, not only on the roams, but in the fights. Rabble is going to lose this bot scrap here. Rogue do have the bot push. Knight is always going to be the push on the tower. I think Chocolate is always going to have the push now that Knight has no flash. And Rabble stacks spawn top side, so after this red, he's probably going to be looking to sprint towards it. His Agenda is moving down already, and oh, he just reset his red.
Reset the red, and this is what we kind of wanted to see from a Go Rogue, though. Talking about it, you know, even in the pre-game, is that you need to put Rabble on pressure. You need to push him back to make sure he's not able to run away with the whole jungle in the early game.
Yeah, he's going to lose the top crab for resetting that red, but the problem Rabble has right now in this game is he has 3 lanes being pushed in. He had some bot push from the split map, but now that's gone after level 2. All 3 of his lanes are kind of under tower. He can't really get a crab this game, so Zanzara kind of gets naturally ahead by this sort of advantage that he has based on his laners. Let's see how he snowballs it. Can he get early dragons? Can he get more flashes or even a kill on Knight?
And that's exacerbated by the fact that he's playing Kindred, who needs to get those marks early as well. The fact your marks are going to be hitting on crabs early, and if you can't pick up a single crab, like getting double crabbed. Oh, mate, I hate to see that as well. That's kind of the summary of the early game for Rabble, just not quite going the way he wants it to.
And just, you know, kind of looking at this, it is a final. This is the last game of the EU Masters. It's a best of 5. Fair enough, it's only game 1, but you can't really afford to have these little mistakes come into it. And Caedrel, I want to go to you. Like, does that pressure get to players, even if you are playing at home?
Yeah, I think just a few hiccups there from Rebel. I mean, he reset the red, he failed jump over the wall. Nothing to read into too much, but he does get the second Gromp of Zanzara. Now, the second Gromp respawn is really big. He got the first, he got the second, so although he did get double crabbed, he managed to defend his Gromp, get the second Gromp for the side of Zanzara, And he's in a good spot overall. I mean, it could be worse for having all these 3 of your lanes being pushed in. But now he's picked up the longsword, so let's see if he can get some vision for Knight just so he can play a little bit safer when his flash comes up.
So that's going to be my question here, because we've kind of passed the first phase of the game here, right? Where everyone's got their first recalls in, we got the resets out. What is kind of like the plan now, when you consider the fact that we're kind of equal on the side of both things? Like, where are you looking to attack the map, and is Dragon going to start playing into this for the jungle matchups especially?
Definitely. Early Dragons is Zanzara is moving to bot side. They have one wave of mid prio, so you can see Knight's pinging missing on mid. I think GL might have to look for some flashes away here. Zanzara is in a good spot.
Yeah, Zanzara get exhausted, but it's a good knockback in to get the stun. They do use the Devour, but first blood goes to Woolite. TP coming out here as Phonesdale has to get himself immediately out of there. Great roam down from the mid lane of Rogue to get themselves first blood.
Now, this all kind of comes down to top wave. Is top wave in a good spot for GL or Rogue? I mean, both top laners have TP'd. So again, that TP to catch the mid wave that Checo had lost in that roam. And they lost the flash, no flash on the side of bot lane. So first blood for Rogue, first blood for Woolite, and they have 2 carries with tier. So it kind of depends on the top wave here who loses. If Rogue's wave's pushing into GL, they won't lose too much gold. But if the wave's pushing into the side of Rogue, then GL's losing a lot here.
It looks like it's relatively equal for now. And that is going to be the first dragon going over as well to Rogue. Second dragon spawning will be Ocean, so we'll be seeing a cloud or a mountain soul in this game. Oh, no. And yeah, that's... Oof.
It's a lot of CS going to go over to the side, or go away from the side of Phones, as you can see it pushing in. And like you said, you wanted to know what the way the state of the lane was in. And unfortunately, though, for the Scion here, he has got a Bambi Cinder, so it's nigh impossible for him to hold it as such, but should be able to keep that advantage. He didn't lose anything from his TP. If anything, he just gained extra CS in the mid lane. Overall, it still feels like Rogue on top as Trimby with the magical journey pushed everyone from the side of Gamer Legion back into their own jungle. It feels like Rogue just feel more comfortable right now.
They just don't have any options. I mean, they have 3 lanes being pushed in. They can never really move in. And if we look at the replay here, Checolad gets 1 wave of mid prio. Zanzara Hex flashes over the wall into the tri-bush, and GL, they need to crash this wave, but it looks like they're a bit out of position. Zanzara plays it really well. He gets a double stun. Phone tries to TP on the trap to make it sort of a 3v3, but then Checolad comes in, and yeah, that's it. He can't really do anything now. He's turned up too late.
My question in this scenario really is, like, shouldn't Gamer Legion have really been expecting something like this? I mean, you don't have vision on the enemy jungler. You know it's a set who's got Hex Flash, because every set takes Hex Flash. And the enemy mid laner just went missing. You're trying to crash a wave. That seems a little bit greedy, honestly, from the side of Gamer Legion. But either way, they were punished for it, and Woolite does pick up that first blood. And now we're seeing those cheeky little lane swaps come in with that dragon being dead. On the bot side, there's no real punishment here for moving your bot lane up to the top. And will we be seeing some kind of like Herald priority at this point?
Yeah, that's exactly why GL moved up to the top side. I think GL, they couldn't really get any bot wave push after that gank there. Wisdom did die. They lost a flash in a skirmish afterwards. So they just maybe lost a wave bot. You can see on the CS, they ran top just to make sure that they're reactive. Phones doesn't have TP, so I'm expecting him to push in this bot wave and move towards the top side, but the problem I have with GL's comp is it's so hard to face check. You don't have any face check if you don't have Phones with you, because if Wisdom walks in with no flash, he's probably going to die. And Woolite, he's got the Manamune, he got first blood, so the Ezreal and Orianna double tier, and you've got a kill on the side of Rogue as well in the first blood, so they're in a good spot. The only problem is again, does losing bot waves here, so Rogue are fully committing to this Herald, so GL can either send Phones up to contest it or just give some platings to him and drop the Herald.
Looks like this is going to be platings for Heralds. Kind of an equal trade overall. You're kind of trading, you know, plates now for plates later. Gold in your pockets. Plus an extra little 100 there for Zanzara, but they're going to give it straight to Checolad. And Foxy, this just feeds into what we talked about so much yesterday and today on the desk. They just give everything they physically can to Checolad in the mid lane. Make sure he's just as comfortable as can be.
And he rewards them for it. Even though he's playing Orianna, you might think he's more of like a role player with this pick. More of a team pickup here with that, but he doesn't play Orianna like that. You know, despite the fact that he is able to still, you know, have the highest assists out of any mid, he still also has one of the highest damage shares. And the fact that you give Herald over to him, as you're saying, you're almost like, you know, quite funneling him, but you're still getting as much gold over to him as possible, and that's going to be something that we can see looking forwards here, because these gold totals are quite equal as we go right now, but slight advantages on the carries of Rogue, and that might be something that kind of expands as we get a little bit forward here, especially with that Rift Herald.
I think what's interesting about the map state is Rebel's bot side. He's picking up his stack. He's left his bot lane sort of on an island here. They are 2v2 on the top side. Zanzara's up there, but Checolad doesn't have TP, neither does his Agenda. So Rebel is going to get away with this. He's going to pick up a lot of camps. So the main thing here is the Kindred's getting ahead. So Good play from Rebel. He identified that if he's topside and his top lane's getting pushed in, there's not much he can really do. And the Herald being on Chocolate kind of gives away where the Herald's going. It's going to go mid, so if they have one big wave stacking or they have side waves moving, they know when the Herald's going to be used.
So talk to me now through Gamer Legion. What are they waiting for? Where are they strongest, and what can we expect to see from them in the next, say, 10 to 15 minutes?
Well, I don't think they have much options in general. It feels like all their waves are being pushed in. They don't have the Herald either, so their win condition in this early game is Rebel. There's a Drake spawning in 1 minute, so there might be a fight around that. But if they can stop this Herald, stop Chocolate from getting too many plates, and just get a good Dragon setup, try to get early Drake so that you don't struggle on later on, and Rebel gets some items, and they're in a good spot. But Chocolate has another wave mid-price going topside.
Yeah, you talked about that island as they jump in, as Wisdom gets knocked back and stunned up. Will he go down? Yes, just about. They are going to drop Hjarnan down into the Bard ultimate, and that's a double kill for Chocolate.
Yeah, he had one wave mid-prio, he has the Herald, he could drop it here if he wants, but he is going to base. I mean, that's the thing I said earlier, right? They're left on an island. Rebel's farming bot camps. He did base and run towards the top side eventually, but he's just too late, and that's what happens if you're a jungler and you leave your bot lane alone on the top side of the map in a 2v3.
So what you're saying is, even though jungle's on the opposite side of the map, it's still jungle diff.
It's still jungle diff.
Always jungle diff. Bottom line, always jungle diff. Plus, I mean, honestly, the fact that you've drafted a Kog'Maw for the mid lane, it's not really a pick that leaves mid a lot during the lane phase. So Chocolate here, able to get that pressure off, able to get that roam, and that's a really, really good dive for Rogue. He's setting them up 3 kills here, and you can see the kills are exactly where you want them. You've got 2 kills on that mid laner with Chocolate, and you've got 1 kill and an assist over to Woodlight as well.
And he still has the Herald, right? So he's got some more gold in the pocket if he needs it. I mean, Knight, he has a little bit of a CS lead just because Chocolate, he did gank bot. Now he's gone for the top dive. Dragon spawn, so Sizagenda has TP up, but Rebel's going for an aggressive stack here.
Oh, Rebel, need to be so damn careful.
Oh my god, he's
Cosmic Binding is still available. They're just waiting for a little bit of a... As there is the showstopper to really just put Rebel further and further into the jungle. And Rogue, honestly, right now, Rogue are just playing this perfectly.
Further into the jungle and further into the dirt. He's going to spend 20 seconds contemplating his sins right there. And that is the Dragon up as well, right? I'm not quite sure if Rogue want to quickly transition into this Dragon take, but honestly, that's a pretty good time to do so when you've got the enemy jungler dead.
He was just too aggressive. He had no
and the Herald. He didn't even get the mark, did he?
No, yeah.
God,
I mean,
that's painful.
He had no vision, no prios. He just went for it thinking, well, I need this. I mean, he's been playing well around getting a camp advantage, but the whole map's kind of falling apart for GL here. Like I said, all 3 lanes are still kind of being pushed in. I mean, RGO, Trimby, and just Zanzara just roaming around the map so well together, and that's going to be a second dragon. It is Infernal and Ocean as Knight gets ulted here.
There's a Shockwave landing on top of Knight. Has got his flash available using the phase rush. Just enough to be able to get himself away. Chocolate trading flash for flash, but global objectives, turret plate, CS, the picks, everything just feels like it's going in favor of Rogue. As Trimby, he's going straight in and he's going to immediately jump out, but he can use the Lamb's Respite to keep himself alive, and he went too quickly. Ends up being a 1-for-1. Gamer Legion finally picking up their first kill of the game.
That was aggressive. I really like that from Trimby. Tried to get the Bard ult, Knight has no flash, and that was really well played. Chocolate, I mean, he's pushing in the mid wave for Drake here, but Knight steps up, he tries to punish it, Sizagenda's there, Trimby immediately starts moving as soon as he sees the fight, and Knight does react in time to the flash Q from the side of Chocolate, and he tries to catch the wave thinking he's safe. Trimby just about misses the ult. Sizagenda's there for the kill, but Trimby wants it, he goes in for it, and then you can see a bit of questioning here. He does put the portal to come out.
Okay, that was a lot closer than it looked.
It was pretty close.
That was really, really close right there. And the fact that Trimby, by the way, he doesn't have Ignite. He's got flash heal. So he still went for that play, despite not having that aggressive summoner. Nothing can hold him down. And, you know, it's really scary, honestly, when you're playing against a team like Rogue. I'm sure you're mostly on the delivering side of this here, Cadril, because you're never put on the back foot when you play Professional League of Legends. You're just that good.
Wow, the compliment.
Apart from the last 2 weeks of playing.
I knew there was an if. I knew there was a bug coming in.
But isn't it just so hard to play against that kind of style where they're always just like walking forward and they doesn't afraid of anything?
Oh, now to see if they're actually going to be not afraid of anything, as Sagenda was not afraid for a little bit. It's still a very, very tanky.
Rebel has an ult.
Rebel hasn't got ult. They do not land the stun though with the face breaker. They are going to use the showstopper to try and get phones back into the team. Nobody else is around. Pretty quick kill to turn around and go Rogue back to the usual setup of this game.
I mean, what options did GL have? If Knight never has flash, he can never push, and if he can never push, he can never roam. So RGO just kind of dominate the map. Zanzara is getting deep vision. Look at the vision on the minimap. Rogue just have deep vision everywhere on both sides of the map, and they can do whatever they want. Trimby's unleashed with this counter pick support. They did get split map on level 2. They did get a split map, but they didn't get the push. And then level 3, level 4, they started having the push. Trimby's moving around the map with Zanzar, and there, I mean, they tried to collapse on Sizagenda. They don't have any damage, and then Rabble has to flash away with no ult, and Rogue just punish it again. These oversteps from GL, you can't walk into River versus this comp.
So what is the remedy for this right here, though? Because I don't think Rogue necessarily scale poorly, right? So having this stage of the game not go in your favor, it's like, sure, Game of Legion aren't necessarily drafting to dominate in this stage either, but you have to break something at some point. You can't let the game keep going on like this. What is it the Game Legion need to do to make that happen?
To be honest, Foxdrop, it's a bit of a diffy in the driffy right now. I'd say with that Tahm Kench Corkball pick, RGO played really well around shutting down Knight's flash, and Wisdom with the Tahm Kench has kind of been on the tower all game. So now that they're on the back foot, they have been losing platings across the map. They haven't lost the tower yet, but this Herald will secure either mid or a side lane tower. So, I mean, in terms of options, they have phones with the ult to engage. Hjarnan can pull out the curtain call, and Knight has a lot of poke too, but I mean, RGO, they just have such long-range carries as well, so it feels like Rabble, Hjarnan, it feels so difficult for them to be able to hit. I mean, the only real targets they have is Zanzar and Sizagenda. I mean, they could try to punish something on the side lane, but Sizagenda, if he plays it smart, if he plays it safe, I don't think they can catch him out.
And even just looking at this, like for Gamer Legion as a whole, as a tournament, this has been a long tournament for them. They're the number 3 seed coming in from the dark region. They've had to play endlessly amount more games as such, and all of their games have gone the full distance in terms of playoffs. Whereas you look on the side of a Go Rogue, they've literally 2-0'd every single person on the way up. So it feels just like, you know, you are kind of running out of steam when you've played such crazy strats and you've played such crazy things over and over. It kind of becomes predictable.
And I do wonder, you know, from the Ultra League perspective as well, with Rogue going up against Game Legion right now, you must be feeling pretty confident. You're ahead in this Game 1. And if we look back at the Ultra League and what they've been able to achieve at EU Masters, they got finals in 2018 spring. They got finals in 2020 spring as well, so previous EU Masters. But they didn't take a game in either series. They've got 0 wins in the finals. So if you're looking to set yourself up, you know, you're winning this Game 1, already your favors are turning, and you know, this could be something where Rogue, who are looking really, really dominant, the first game could kind of be the story of the series.
They are looking really dominant. I think GL's gonna lose all tier 1s here. Is Zanzar out?
He should be fine. Phase rush is there. They are going to use the curtain call. There's the call of the Forge God. Does catch out Chekolad. They are fairly far away from him. However, the missile barrage is coming out from Knight on the backside, and they do get Woolite's TP. So overall, not a bad trade, but you gain a TP, you lose a tower as Rogue. It just feels like they're comfortable. 3,000 gold ahead at the 17.5-minute mark, and even when Gamer Legion tries something, there's not really any engage on this team.
I mean, you saw the curtain call, you saw the ult come out, but they just didn't have enough.
There it is, the flash in with the shockwave, but it's going to be a full-out brawl as Woolite has to go out as well. He's flashed, and they use the heal from the side of Trimby as well, but there is the shutdown coming down. The Chekolag goes onto the perfect person as the Rams left by does keep Knight and Rabble there. In this fight is Trimby just being peppered down by this Kog'Maw. Overall, still a 1-for-1 trade. As you can see here, Hjarnan has nowhere to go and is in no man's land. Sitting on the back of this one. There's the showstopper to start it all off again. Great facebreaker as well into the Haymaker. Rabble goes down. Zanzara will survive, and thank you for the dragon. They're just going to turn it straight into this. They haven't really got the mana nor the health. They're trying to fight against this. I don't know if this is a smart call right now.
Knight
They're going to turn the no mana on Knight. There's the Tempered Fate as Woolite kills off the Ornn. And this has all gone bad to worse. Chekolad dies. He TPs back in. And they're forcing the Knight flash again. Going for him. It doesn't matter about the tower. He's dead. And overall, Rogue dominating in this one once and for all. It looks like Ultra Liga may be on the cusp of an EU Masters title.
Okay, we're 18 minutes into Game 1, BP. I agree with you. Holy crap, what a fight. And I think, you know, this is absolutely insane and textbook Rogue right here. It started off crazy, like pretty equal, but still very back and forth, and then Rogue just really putting it out right there. This is the explosiveness of this Rogue team, and it's something that we've seen time and time again throughout EU Masters. We're seeing it here, and I guarantee you in this best of 5, we'll be seeing those kind of fights. Plenty of times we're going to get some spicy action in the series.
The fight never ends. It was just a non-stop fight. I mean, GL kind of had to go for it. They lost all their tier 1s as they were setting up for the 3rd dragon, but Rogue, they have the third dragon now. It is Cloud Soul. I mean, it kind of benefits their comp pretty well when you've got Sion, Orianna as set. These champs really benefit from the Cloud Soul. So GL, they're in a bit of a bad spot. I think they're 4k gold down. Knight did pick up a shutdown in that fight, so he has got the Seraphs. He's going towards the Liandries. I mean, you could kind of see glimpses of how GL can win the fights. They were poking them down. They did kind of punish the mistakes from Rogue going too deep, and they need to poke them down. That's the only way they can really do it. The Curtain Call, the Cogmore, this is what you're drafting. This is just full poke. You need to make sure that the fight starts when Rogue's carries are just kind of out of it.
The question is though, like, if you put your eggs in the poke basket, you're playing against pretty good engage. You know, you've got the Sion, you've got Bard, even Zanzara right here. Speaking of engages.
And that's it. Doesn't hit. They don't gain anything out of it as we go with a showstopper straight onto the back line. There's Hjarnan trying to use the curtain call as Rabble picks up Zanzara. They have got themselves a Lamb's Respite, but it's not long enough as Phones goes down. It's Woolite for the double kill. Hjarnan is nowhere near this. It's a 4v5 effectively until he comes back in here, but it does not matter. They take the tower. They can look for more kills. It just looks disjointed from Gamer Legion. They look like they don't know if they're coming, they're going, they're looking for something, and Rogue just feel like the better team right now.
Rogue is online. Their carries are just popping off in the fight. GL got some poke down. The Ornhorn came in, but Trimby with the portal just kind of saved it. And Woolite, although Chekolad was getting hit by the curtain call, he was untouched. He was just murdering the front line. He has 2 items and a half. And if we look at this replay here, I mean, Rogue do get kind of poked out. They do use the Orn ult. I mean, Hjarnan's kind of out of position in this. It's sort of a 4v5 engage. The poke comes onto Chekolad, but watch Woolite in this fight. Although Chekolad's kind of struggling, Zanzara does go down for the front line, but Woolite kind of is the front line here. Him and Sizagenda just dashing in. He does pick up a double kill, and from there, it's just a one fight.
Yeah, Woolite with his frontline memes, this is where it really just like, this is the strength of Woolite. This is how this guy gets like 50% damage share in his games, which is not far from what he's been able to achieve in the playoffs. He's really, really solid. Like, he's not afraid to jump forward and really punish enemy teams, and this is it. If you're playing from ahead, it's absolutely sublime, and Woolite really just bringing in the death knell for Gamer Legion in that fight.
So what do Gamer Legion have to do right now? We talked about it's a poke comp. We talked about how they're kind of like waiting for those big poke items to kind of come in for the Kog'Maw, for the Jhin as well. Where are you looking for them to kind of, how do they stall this game? Because you're looking at Soul Point. We didn't even touch on that. They're 1 dragon away from Soul Point, and they're on Baron as well. What do you do?
They're starting up the Baron and Hjarnan's bot, so I think this Baron's pretty much gone. They've got so much damage for it. Woolite is 3,000 gold ahead of Hjarnan. He's 2 levels up, maybe even 3 after this Baron, who knows? I mean, he's got the death stance. You can't really poke this man out anymore, so Rogue, they have the front line, they have the scaling, they have the items they need and the gold advantage, and GL, they need to pull something out. They need to pull out some magic, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need some magic. I'm not quite sure that Krug camp has the magic in it, but at least Hjarnan did pick that one up. Kind of just getting the scraps of what you can at this point. Like, I mean, he is a bot side, and you think, oh, well, why are you bot side? Now we can't contest Baron. Could you contest Baron anyway? Probably not, honestly, especially with the ability to turn and pull the trigger that Rogue has. It's just kind of a rock on a hard place right here. Speaking of Knight, you're in trouble, buddy.
Oh, they are going to use the Tempered Fate and the Unstoppable Onslaught. There is Wisdom here, and they may be able to get a fair bit of damage. The TPs come in. Rabble's here. Phones is here. That's a good pick coming in, and they have got Trimby on the backside as he's forced to flash. They are still chasing him. Flash forward by Rabble. 2 quick kills going over to the side of Gamer Legion, but their base is being torn apart. They are going to sacrifice at minimum an inhibitor. They may not be able to get back in time. They may have to give up 2.
I mean, that's just how you come back into these games, I guess. If you don't have any win conditions in terms of progressing the game or coming back, then just play on the enemy mistakes. I think Sizagenda just went way too deep there. Knight didn't have flash, but Woolite had the TP, Chekolad had the TP, but they didn't want a TP and they wanted to keep pushing. So I think that was just a bit of miscommunication from the side of Rogue there. Trimby and Sizagenda, they went in. Chekolad and Moonlight, they kept pushing. So that's how you come back in these games. Just look for mistakes and they punish them really well.
Oh, Knight just spawned.
Being flashed on top of. There is the shockwave onto 2. You can only save 1, Tam Genj, as he jumps straight down and dunks him into the ground. Rabble, surprise!
It's a one-shot.
It's a Scion coming over from the back end of the Dragon Pit as Wisdom goes down. And this game is all but over right now as Rogue, they don't even matter about the Dragon. They can just push in for mid.
Gamer Legion saw their opportunity. They tried to go for that dragon. It wasn't happening. Rogue are just too far ahead. And right here, Woolite chasing down Hjarnan. Hjarnan's going to escape with his flash, but he might only be able to preserve his KDA, and unfortunately, probably not the Nexus.
Yeah, the game looks pretty much over here. Uses the bow special there to get the 2 towers, and I think this is just kind of a draft difference, to be honest. I think GL just don't have many options. If you have 3 lanes being pushed in with an early kind of winning jungle matchup which you can't use, and then you have nothing to play for, then it's just over.
Domination is the word that comes into my head when I look at that game. That was clinical textbook. You can do whatever the hell you want, Gamer Legion. We have answers for it all. That was just, honestly, just looked like they were just outdrafted, outplayed, out everything.
Well, LDLC also did win Game 1 against Gamer Legion.
That's true.
In their series. So if you're a Game
comfort
Legion fan, it's not all donezo. I mean, it is best of 5 and that's Game 1, despite you calling the win at 18 minutes there for the Ultra
I
League.
just calls them like I sees them.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the hype is real. It really is. Rogue looked really good at that game.
All right, Go Rogue take Game 1 in our first best